March is Women's History Month. It is a time to remember where we have been and where we are going. The fight for women's equality was heard long before there was an Indiana, and long before there was a 19th Amendment that gave us the right to vote. In March 1776, Abigail Adams wrote a letter to her husband, John, as he and his fellow patriots were contemplating independence from Great Britain. She wrote, "I long to hear that you have declared an independency. And by the way, in the new code of laws, which I suppose it will be necessary for you to make, I desire you would remember the ladies and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors." But when Indiana was a young state, the laws concerning women were based on English common law. A married woman was considered property of her husband and under his coverture, literally under his wing. A woman did not have the right to own real and personal property, own or keep her wages, enter into legal contracts, serve on juries, hold public office, or vote in national elections. The same code of law gave men the right to beat their wives, giving us the rule of thumb that defined the acceptable size of the stick he used as no bigger than his thumb. But we have made progress. In 1847, Indiana led the nation by enacting a new law recognizing certain property rights for women. That same year, Earlham College in Richmond, Indiana, admitted women equally with young men. In 1851, Indiana holds its first women's rights convention in Dublin, Indiana. In 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation declared freedom from slavery for men and women alike. In 1867, Indiana University became the first major university to admit women on an equal basis with young men, and allowed them to take the same course of study as do the other students. In 1879, the Married Women's Property Act made it possible for all women to own and inherit property. In 1890, Wyoming became the first state to grant women the right to vote. That same year, the census reported that women worked in 360 of the 369 different occupations listed. Sadly, many women still worked in jobs with little chance for advancement. In 1893, the Indiana Supreme Court authorized Antoinette Dakin Leach as the first woman in the state to practice law. In 1916, Jeanette Rankin from Montana becomes the first woman elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. In 1917, the Indiana General Assembly passed a law permitting women to vote for municipal office and school board. But the state Supreme Court interpreted the Constitution strictly and prohibited women from registering to vote. At last, January 16, 1920, a special session of the General Assembly ratified the 19th Amendment, which states that the rights of the citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. By August 18th, Tennessee becomes the 36th state to ratify that amendment, giving it the two-thirds majority of state ratification necessary to make it the law of the land. 8 days later, On August 26th, the 19th Amendment took effect. By empowering women the right to vote, hope was given to a whole new generation. December 7, 1941, Pearl Harbor. America was attacked. America went to war. Women with a can-do spirit and attitude take over the factories, the stores, and the manufacturing plants, while men are sent to war in Europe and the Pacific. Many women volunteered for homeland and military service, making them indispensable. After the war, as men came home, women often left their jobs to focus their energies on their families and on homemaking. In 1963, women were then on a new footing with the Equal Pay Act, which promised equitable wages for the same work performed. And in 1964, when the Civil Rights Act was enacted, the nation began its transformation to equality. Under the law, segregation and discrimination were no longer legally tolerated, and we struggled to become a unified country. Well, what about today's woman? How does she confront the world? Young women learn to stand up for themselves. They learn to stand up for others, including their country, or for the dignity of the young, the old, those who are vulnerable, recognizing that progress for one is progress for all, and that a victory for one is a victory for all. So, we gather today at an awards ceremony to honor women who have made extraordinary advancements since my time. I hearken back to fellow suffragist Mathilda Jocelyn Gage, and I might add, the mother of L. Frank Baum, who wrote The Wizard of Oz, who once said, "The women of today are the thoughts of their mothers and grandmothers, embodied and made alive. They are active, capable, determined, and bound to win. They have 1,000 generations back of them. The pressure lies not alone in their own veins and arteries, but the hereditary transmission of qualities is making itself felt. Millions of women dead and gone are speaking through us today. And with that, I welcome you to the 10th Anniversary Torchbearer Awards. Please join me for a program with these inspiring women who are the embodiment of hundreds of generations of women.
Ladies and gentlemen, can anyone guess who that was? That was Jenny Craven Ralston, poet, author, and wife of Samuel M. Ralston, the 28th governor who served Indiana between 1913 and 1917. The presentation she just performed for you was adapted from one written by 2012 Torchbearer recipient Melissa Martin and originally performed by Chief Judge Margaret Robb, who is being honored today, and Judge Sarah Evans Barker, 2008 Torchbearer at the 2009 Torchbearer Awards ceremony. The title for this presentation was taken from the National Women's History Project's 2014 theme, Celebrating Women of Character, Courage, and Commitment. NWHP coordinates national efforts honoring the extraordinary and often unrecognized determination and tenacity of women. Against social convention and often legal restraints, women have created a legacy that expands the frontiers of possibilities for generations to come. Pretty fitting for the Torchbearer Awards, wouldn't you say? And let me echo Mrs. Ralston's sentiment. Welcome to the 10th Anniversary Torchbearer Awards. This is Indiana's Salute to Women. We are all here today to celebrate the accomplishments of many great women. They are doctors, educators, public servants, community leaders, entrepreneurs, and businesswomen. They are women who have led the way and have made Indiana a better place to live, a better place to work and raise families. They have shown resilience and strength and demonstrated character and accomplishment. Today we honor women who have faced immense obstacles, fought many battles, and stood alone as they forged a path for other women to follow in their footsteps. My name is Kelly Vaughn from WHMB TV 40 here in Indianapolis, and I am excited to be back for this year's Torchbearer ceremony. It is the Indiana Women's Commission its efforts to promote and recognize the contributions women make to their communities, to the state of Indiana, and to our nation. This is, my second year of hosting the event, and I'm proud to be a part of the state of Indiana's most prestigious recognition of women. Those who earn the honor to be called torchbearers are women who have stepped forward to carry the light for others. The women we honor this afternoon will join 164 other torchbearers, some of whom have joined us today. Others are still out there doing good work, and a few have become a part of Indiana's great history, and we can only remember their good deeds. We never want to forget the contributions that each torchbearer has made to the state of Indiana. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the stage Christine Altman. Christine is the current chair of the Indiana Commission for Women and a county commissioner for Hamilton County. Christine?
Thank you. Welcome. We're pleased to welcome you to this year's Torchbearer celebration. This year is very special for us. This afternoon, we will be paying tribute to some amazing women who have led their way and led the way for others in their professions and in their communities. That in and of itself should be enough. But this year's event is truly a milestone for women in Indiana because we've been celebrating the 10th year of honoring women who've made outstanding contributions to our state. The Indiana Commission for Women created the concept of the Torchbearer Awards in 2004. The intent was to honor women who have removed or overcome barriers to equality or through their achievements have contributed to making our state a better place in which to live, work, and raise a family. To give you a little idea of the past 10 years of the history and the Torchbearer Awards, I'd like to direct your attention to the screen as we watch a video highlighting the milestone which we've gathered to celebrate.
The Indiana Commission for Women is committed to the full participation of women in all aspects of society in order to make Indiana a better place to live, work, and raise a family. On July 14, 1992, Governor Evan Bayh signed Executive Order 92-15, establishing the Indiana Commission for Women as a unit of the Indiana Civil Rights Commission.
The purpose was to try to elevate the importance of women and to highlight the inequalities between men and women. When you shine the spotlight on inequalities, it tends to kind of level out and to kind of diminish those inequalities. So certainly there have been strides, but I think it's important to note that there still is inequality between men and women.
Effective July 1, 1996, the Indiana Commission for Women, ICW, received enabling legislation making it a state entity by statute. Today, the ICW thrives under leadership of its current executive director, Kristen Garvey. The ICW has worked to identify key issues concerning women in Indiana.
And some of the things that have risen to the top are issues of pay inequality, domestic violence, health care issues. And now I think we have a firm platform where we can actually try to affect some changes with those concerns. And it may not be directly but we are working toward elevating women's platforms politically and getting involved in community issues and making a change systemically.
The ICW has worked to prioritize challenges women face and develop partnerships with key stakeholders to create a coordinated effort to move Indiana women forward. One of the ICW's organizational partners is the National Association of Women Business Owners.
ICW has had a great partnership with NAVO Indianapolis, and it's been exciting to work with the women of the Indiana Commission for Women, and our partnership has allowed us to be able to collaborate and bring forth some great programs. One of those being Women's Day at the State House, and that was a great opportunity to be able to partner with ICW. Kristen Garvey has participated as the Executive Director of ICW in our Fuel to Run, which is Females United and Empowered to Lead workshop and event that took place, as well as our annual luncheon and several other events. So there's been a lot of collaboration that has happened and being able to make sure that we work together so that there is one voice meeting the needs and concerns of women throughout the state of Indiana.
Another task charged to ICW was the identification and recognition of contributions made by Indiana women to their community, state, and nation. In 2004, under the direction of Chair Senator Katie Wolf, with the assistance of Executive Director Annette Craycraft and the creative talent of Commissioner Melissa C. Martin, the very first Torchbearer Awards was held.
It was decided that we would have an awards ceremony. And after a while, someone came up with the idea of why don't we call it the Torchbearer Awards? Because indeed these women are leaders and have carried the torch for all women in Indiana. We wanted to make sure that women all over the state were being recognized. So we reached out to other local commissions for women and other women's groups and asked them to make nominations to the commission on women who had overcome obstacles or removed barriers or done something really outstanding within Indiana, and we were overwhelmed by the response.
Recipients are women who have been pioneers in their industries, have inspirational stories that set the standard for other women, demonstrated outstanding character, and have made significant contributions to their communities and to the state of Indiana. While there are a number of award programs, the Torchbearer Awards are the only such event in which the state of Indiana recognizes and honors its women. The statue, Victory, from atop the Soldiers and Sailors Monument was the image selected to represent the Torchbearer Awards. Victory is symbolic of the character and achievements of the women honored, and the flame she holds represents the light our torchbearers have brought to our state and their communities. Thank you for joining us as we continue to honor our Hoosier women at the 10th Anniversary Torchbearer Awards.
Well done. That just gives you a glimpse of our journey into today's event. And who could have thought that we're now celebrating 10 years? Looking back at the first Torchbearer Award, we honored 24 women who submitted nominations based on categories. We honored such women as Kathy Davis, the first woman to serve as Lieutenant Governor; Myra Selby, the first woman to be appointed to the Indiana Supreme Court and who received our first Trailblazer Award; and the late Julia Carson, who received our first Heart of Indiana Award. She was also the first African American woman to be elected to the Indiana General Assembly and the third woman to be elected from the state of Indiana to the U.S. House of Representatives. We've also honored everyday heroes like Cordelia Lewis Burks from Indianapolis for her legal work for her work as a labor advocate, Virginia O'Leary from Oklahoma City for her work in the legal profession representing women and minorities seeking equal employment opportunities, Lucy Hempstead from Evansville for her efforts in journalism, and Judy Singleton from Indianapolis for her efforts to establish the Richard G. Lugar Excellence in Public Service Series, a political and public service training program for women in Indiana. In 2010, the Indiana Commission for Women made the decision to focus on identifying women who fit the description of a torchbearer without any category or designation. And since then, we've celebrated 10 to 14 women each year who've demonstrated achievement in their areas of professional careers, community leadership, and/or public service. They are selected because they have stepped forward to carry the light for other women. They have become true beacons of light by overcoming challenges and breaking down barriers that all women face with courage, perseverance, and compassion. In total, 164 women can call themselves torchbearers. We're joined by several tonight. If you've received a Torchbearer Award in the last 10 years, please stand and be recognized. Tonight we'll be adding 14 amazing women to that list, and I'm proud to call several of them my friends. 10 carry the title of Torchbearer, and 4 will receive special distinction, but I can't tell you about that yet. So instead, I'd like to offer sincere thanks to several people. To our sponsors, we sincerely thank your interest and dedication to the women of Indiana. We are extremely grateful for your assistance. We thank Platinum sponsor, American Senior Communities. Gold sponsor, Heroes Camp of South Bend and the Kroger Company. Silver sponsor, Barbara Holder Consulting Services and Smoot Construction. And to all of you who submitted nominations, we give you our heartfelt thanks, because without you, we wouldn't have a program today. And to those of you who are nominees and recipients, we give you our congratulations. I know the accomplishments that you've had will continue, and you will be sowing the seeds of hope not only for this generation, but more importantly, for generations to come. And we thank you for that. I want to thank Pat Zetta-Trice, who served as our event chair for this year, and this is her 4th year to serve, and I know it has to be a labor of love. I'd also like to thank Stephanie Moore and Kelly Perry, 2 of our newest board members, for their work on the Planning Committee. We couldn't have done this event without their leadership. I'd also like to thank the staff of the Indiana Civil Rights Commission, especially Ava Taylor, Brad Meadows, and Darren Thomas, who have worked alongside Kristen Garvey, our executive director, to pull everything together. They have definitely put in a lot of hard work for today's event. And finally, I would like to especially thank Governor Pence, Lieutenant Governor Ellspermann, and all the senators and representatives of the Indiana General Assembly who entrust us with the task of representing women to the state of Indiana. It is one of the greatest honors to serve the state of Indiana in this capacity. And to everyone in the audience, thanks for joining us tonight. We're celebrating remarkable women, and our goal is to impress upon you that one woman can make a difference, and they do. We guarantee that after you hear the stories of the women and their accomplishments, you will recognize their contributions and identify with their stories. And you will definitely go home inspired. Thank you all.
Thank you, Christine. Isn't this a wonderful evening? This is so exciting, kind of like Oscar night, huh? You've got the recipients, those are our Oscar winners, and you all look so lovely on the red carpet. Looking for the pizza, though. Where's the pizza? That's the thing. And now I'd like to call to the stage Corey McOmber of Greenwood and member of the ICW Board of Commissioners Corey served as this year's chair of the Council of Judges. She's going to give you an idea of just how difficult it is to choose the recipients of the annual Torchbearer Awards. Corey?
It has been an honor to chair the Council of Judges. With this year's special milestone, we wanted to make sure that we carried that theme forward throughout the process. We recruited 10 judges from around the state of Indiana. These judges were chosen not only because they represented varied geographic regions, but also because of their professional backgrounds that complemented those nominations that we received. And what made this group even more extraordinary is that each one of the Council of Judges members this year have been torchbearers in the past. The entire process is confidential, and even my co-board members from the Indiana Commission for Women don't know who the women were that voted on this year's torchbearers. The judges had the unenviable task of deciding who will be this year's torchbearer recipients. And believe me, selecting the recipients is both a joyful process and a very painful process. It's joyful because it's so inspiring to read about all of these women and their incredible accomplishments. But it's very painful because we must narrow the list down to the select women that you see in front of us today. Every year is difficult, and this year was no exception. I was asked when I concluded my time as serving as the chair of the Council of Judges if I wanted to maybe consider doing it next year. I'm not really sure about that. It was a pretty difficult task. I joked earlier today that, sometimes as women we have bad hair days. And when you have a bad hair day, it just messes up the whole day. Well, trust me, if you had a bad hair day and then you read the applications of the 43 women that we had this year, you would not be feeling very good about yourself. You would feel like you hadn't accomplished anything in life, let me tell you that. So like I mentioned, we had 43 nominations from all across the state. 4 came from cities and towns that we have never had a torchbearer from. 13 nominations were submitted by previous torchbearer winners, so the quality of this year's nominees far surpassed our previous years. Everyone who was nominated deserves the award, and each one of them should be very proud of their accomplishments. The Council selects award recipients based on the nomination applications that are submitted. Each nomination application was considered for the following criteria. Has this woman broken through social or economic barriers or pursued an area where women have not traditionally been? Have the efforts of this woman made or influenced a change for the greater good in her community, profession, or state? Has this woman made a contribution under challenging circumstances? Is this woman merely doing her job well, or has she taken risks to change the status quo or drive an organization or a community to a higher level of excellence? We also look for geographic, demographic, and professional diversity. Not all of the women may be obvious selections because we also look for those undiscovered gems in those small communities. All of the nominations are then scored and then narrowed. Then they're scored again and narrowed again. It takes several times to get through this process to come up with the women that we have in front of you today. In the end, the Council determines who shall receive the Torchbearer Award, and the final decision must be unanimous. I hope that gives you some insight to the process of selecting the recipients for our 10th anniversary Torchbearer Awards. But to give you an even better idea of what it takes to become a torchbearer, let's just get right to the awards so you can hear about these truly phenomenal women. Let's see, come on. So, as the chair of the Council of Judges, it's my prerogative who goes first, and I chose myself. So, joining me on stage is Melissa Martin, a 2012 torchbearer and recipient of the Keeper of the Light Award, to help me make the presentation to one of our special awards. Every year, the Council of Judges chooses individuals who have gone above and beyond the definition of a torchbearer, and to whom the Council wishes to receive a special designation. This year, our first award will be the Keeper of the Light Award, which is given to an unsung heroine who has quietly and persistently worked to better her community. This award is given to a woman who has made a positive impact on her community, but may not yet have been recognized widely for her work. William Shakespeare said, A friend is one that knows you as you are, understands where you have been, accepts what you have become, and still gently allows you to grow. Our first recipient may have been channeling Master Shakespeare when her nominator wrote that she has changed my life forever. I am a better person for knowing her. She inspires me, challenges me, and makes me strive to want to do my best. Velshana Lucky has inspired so many through her work at the Robinson Community Learning Center at the University of Notre Dame in South Bend. There, she oversees youth programs and works not only with students, but many times with their parents. And I bet you're questioning why I quoted Shakespeare, as I don't normally quote Shakespeare. Well, under Velshana's leadership, the Robinson Center started the Robinson Shakespeare Company. Many of her students are inner-city kids from low-income families, most of whom have never even heard of Shakespeare. These students have now competed in the Shakespeare monologue competition and have won at the elementary, middle school, and high school levels. Velshana also created My America, a program for students to explore the history of America, the flaws it has, and what makes America great. She was also instrumental in the creation of the Lego Robotics League, where several of her students have won state competitions and were given the opportunity to travel to the World Lego Robotics Competition in Germany. With the majority of their trip financially sponsored, each child was accompanied by a parent. Not only was this the first time on a plane for many of these children and some of their parents, it was also a life-changing experience for everyone. Velshana Lucky is a second mama or a big sister. She is changing lives and opening the world while making a positive impact in her community. It is my honor, on behalf of the state of Indiana and the Indiana Commission for Women, to present Velshana Lucky a special Torchbearer Award signifying that you are a keeper of the light. Our next recipient is currently serving as Indiana's 50th Lieutenant Governor and third woman to serve in that position. And when I say currently, I literally mean currently. You could go over to the State House right now and she is currently serving as the Lieutenant Governor. Sue Ellspermann has been a shining example of servant leadership and breaking barriers. But what makes Lieutenant Governor Ellspermann different is not only her rise or record of success in her short time as Lieutenant Governor, but it is also her unique background and success in another field typically dominated by men, engineering and manufacturing. Lieutenant Governor Ellspermann worked her way through Purdue University as an engineering cooperative education student with General Motors, graduating as an industrial engineer. She then built a successful corporate career. Returning to her home in southern Indiana, the Lieutenant Governor established her own consulting company that led the way in innovative research and problem solving. At the same time, she earned a master's degree and a doctorate from the University of Louisville in industrial engineering. She then became the founding director of the University of Southern Indiana's Center for Applied Research and Economic Development. In 2008 and 2009, I didn't think you were laughing at me. I knew there had to be something else. In 2008 and 2009, Lieutenant Governor Ellspermann was a member of the Richard G. Lugar Excellence in Public Service Series. As mentioned earlier, the co-founder of that program, Judy Singleton, was honored in 2004 at our first Torchbearers Award for establishing that very program. 10 years after Judy received her award, Lieutenant Governor Ellspermann has become the first graduate to attain a state-level elected position. Both the Lieutenant Governor and Judy recognized that women are often more apprehensive to enter the political arena. Instead, many of them believe that they must choose between family and career success. They never seem to find the perceived perfect time to run for office. The Lieutenant Governor can now serve as an example for past, current, and future class members alike, demonstrating that career, family, and political success are not mutually exclusive. Please help me in honoring Lieutenant Governor Sue Ellspermann as one of our 10th anniversary Torchbearer Award recipients.
I'll give us a few words.
Okay, perfect.
I was hoping I'd have an opportunity to get up here. I am not the Lieutenant Governor. I'm Melissa Martin. But unfortunately, Lieutenant Governor Ellspermann was not able to be here yet this evening. She's still over at the State House. So here is her award, and I know she'll be delighted to receive it.
Ladies and gentlemen, to present our next award, please welcome Representative Sheila Klinker from Lafayette and member of ICW Board of Commissioners, and Barbara Holder, 2010 Torchbearer Award recipient.
Thank you. Good evening. It's our pleasure to be here, and we're going back to the State House too. But it was such a special treat to be able to come here that we did get excused for a little bit anyway. So I'm delighted to be here. John Quincy Adams once said that if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Our next recipient is the epitome of that servant leader who is inspiring others to overcome obstacles and make their lives better. State Representative Terry Austin first entered the Indiana General Assembly in 2002. Representing the city of Anderson and portions of the county, Terry not only is the first woman in Madison County history to be elected to serve in the General Assembly, but also the first Torchbearer Award winner from Anderson. Now in her 6th term, Terry has made Indiana a better place by removing barriers to equality for current and future generations through her legislative initiatives. She has championed legislation that helps improve the lives of all Hoosiers and advance the state's economic climate. Of particular note, a modern-day form of slavery, human trafficking, is a growing challenge for most states, and Indiana is no exception. In response, Terry authored the state's first law in 2006, making human and sexual trafficking a crime. And in 2005, she authored Indiana's landmark law that protects small business from government intrusion and burdensome regulations. Terry continues to serve the state and her community through numerous volunteer civic organizations. In particular, she is founding member of Women in Philanthropy in Madison County Government, a national, nonpartisan organization of women legislators from all 50 states. And they seek to advance and educate women legislators. They promote sound public policy and eradicate cervical cancer through screening and immunization. Her significant achievements have been accomplished with her great collaborative skill while being a model of professionalism, servant leadership, and community building. Please help me in honoring Representative Terry Austin as one of our 10th anniversary Torchbearer Award recipients. Thank you. And Barbara Holder is with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, to present our next award, please welcome Marta Pinchera, member of the Indiana Commission for Women, and Cordelia Lewis Burks, the 2004 Torchbearer Award recipient.
The love for museums that our next recipient has began at an early age. When she enrolled in Barnard College, she had every intention of becoming a museum curator. However, she is the first to admit that that was a big mistake. She realized she didn't care about the museum artifacts nearly as much as she cared about people. So, when Ellen Rosenthal became one of the only female CEOs of a major Indianapolis area museum, she kept that realization alive and initiated a visitor-centric strategy that has transformed Conner Prairie into an award-winning and nationally recognized museum. Her belief is that museums not only exist to preserve artifacts, but bring people together. But it wasn't always easy. When she was promoted to CEO in 2005, the museum was experiencing one of the rockiest times in its history. Ellen was thrust into the middle of negotiations with the former trustee over museum ownership. And she has distinguished herself as someone who knows how to make things happen. Under her leadership, Conner Prairie now plays a critical role in economic and cultural development through Hamilton County, Indiana, and the nation, and focuses on making memories, sharing stories, and increasing social interaction between parents and children, grandparents and grandchildren, and between adults. It has served more than 1,100 economically challenged students since 2012 and has offered science-related programming to Girl Scout troops to help spark an interest in science, technology, engineering, and math in young women. It is my honor, on behalf of the state of Indiana and the Indiana Commission for Women, to honor Ellen Rosenthal as a 10th Anniversary Torchbearer Award. Unfortunately, Ellen could not be with us tonight. Accepting her award is Julie Villieu.
Ladies and gentlemen, to present our next award, please welcome Cindy Felston, a member of the ICW Board of Commissioners and an Indiana delegate to Vision 2020, a national coalition working to achieve women's economic and social equality, and Deborah Hearn Smith, 2013 Torchbearer Award recipient.
Our next recipient is one of those individuals who works quietly in her own community, never asking for recognition. Julie Myers is a voice for so many victims of domestic violence and sexual assault in Martinsville, a small rural community in southern Indiana, which has unique challenges that make it more difficult to maintain anonymity. Many of these victims are in hiding and cannot speak out for themselves. But Julie goes above and beyond the normal scope of her job to assist them. It is professionals like Julie that continually address the challenges in their communities, the local schools, and the court system. As her nominator states, I believe this commitment and perseverance are examples of the true grit of Hoosier women. It is not unusual for a past client to stop me in town to tell me how much they appreciate our programs and services, and especially Miss Myers. Although she is a single mom of 3 boys, she works tirelessly on behalf of her clients. She works long hours, evenings, and weekends to help them with various needs and situations, always looking for additional resources that will help these victims. She makes phone calls on behalf of clients, negotiates rates for various services, and accompanies clients to court. She once placed herself in danger for a client by renting a U-Haul truck, to load her belongings after an ex-husband placed a no-contact order against her and was threatening to destroy her belongings. Every day, Julie empowers and encourages her clients to make the best decisions for both their lives and their children's lives. Please help me in honoring Julie Myers as one of our 10th anniversary Torchbearer Award recipients. I am excited to be able to present a second award to a woman who has worked tirelessly for the health and well-being of women and girls in Indiana. Her passion for improving their opportunities is unflagging. Through her leadership and her continuous public service, Betty Cockrum has ensured access to reproductive health care for girls, women, and men in Indiana. As president and CEO of Planned Parenthood of Indiana and Kentucky, she is continually challenged to maximize resources to provide accurate, comprehensive reproductive health care, education, and health center services to Indiana families. Sometimes these centers are the only places in rural communities that offer needed services that protect the reproductive health of women. Betty focuses on preventing teen pregnancies associated with low birth weights, long-term health risk, and inadequate child care, identifying and treating sexually transmitted disease that threatens public health, screening for cancer, some of which are treatable or preventable, providing health care education, and serving all, regardless of ability to pay. Much of Betty's effort is to communicate effectively about the benefits of having an organization such as hers that is supported by thousands of volunteers. The value of health care and education given to the women and children can be measured in terms of the healthy children who are provided for by the responsible and healthy parents. As her nominator said, Indiana is a better place because of the service of Betty Cockrum. Her life has been devoted to removing barriers and providing services and opportunities for the women and families of Indiana. Please help me in honoring Betty Cockrum as one of our 10th anniversary Torchbearer Award recipients.
Ladies and gentlemen, to present our next award, please welcome back to the stage Christine Altman, Chair of the Indiana Commission for Women, and Dr. Virginia Kane, 2006 Torchbearer Award recipient and recipient of the Trailblazer Award.
We're old friends. I have the distinct honor of presenting our next special award. Please remember that the women who are honored with special awards are also torchbearers. But this next award is even more special because we've not given it to anyone since 2009. And in fact have only honored 5 women with this distinction. These women included Dr. Virginia Kane of Marion County Health Department, Myra Selby, first woman to serve on the Indiana Supreme Court. And U.S. Federal Judge of the Southern District of Indiana, Sarah Evans Barker. The Council of Judges felt that our next recipient has earned the distinction as well. The Trailblazer Award is given to a woman in recognition of her pioneering contributions that have been outstanding and have blazed a trail for other Hoosier women. Throughout her professional life, our next recipient has embodied the ideal of a trailblazer. Let me read the first paragraph of her nomination. Chief Judge Margaret Robb has not only been a torchbearer, but has also enthusiastically led the parade and passed the torch so the flames she ignited would illuminate and inspire others. A torchbearer is one who lights the darkness by leading from the front. There is little virtue in carrying a torch that burns brightly for a time and is then snuffed out. Like a small candle, it must be sheltered and protected. Although she graduated magna cum laude and was admitted to the Indiana bar, Judge Robb had no mentors or advocate for her and lacked family and political connections. She found that none of the big law firms viewed her as a viable candidate because they weren't seeking women. In fact, many went to great lengths to block women's paths. Hostility to a woman working in a largely male bastion was commonplace, and young women who stood up for themselves were not the model of femininity that resonated favorably with established law firms, go figure. So she found work at small law offices, where she earned a reputation for integrity, fairness, and compassion. She worked tirelessly for clients who were going through divorces, facing custody battles, bankruptcy filings, and countless other problems that frightened ordinary people. But after her hard work and determination, it eventually changed for her. She opened her own law office in Lafayette, and in 1998, Governor Frank O'Bannon appointed her to the Indiana Court of Appeals. And in 2010, she was elected as the first woman chief judge. However, I have to say what makes Judge Robb special for the Indiana Commission for Women is that in 1973, she was named the founding chair of Governor Otis Bowen's newly formed Commission on the Status of Women, the first attempt to establish a commission for women in the state of Indiana. So it is my honor, on behalf of the state of Indiana and on behalf of the Indiana Commission for Women, to present Chief Judge Margaret Robb a special Trailblazer Award. Congratulations.
Wow. Is this incredible or what? So many extraordinary women. And I'm amazed at the accomplishments of each and every one of you. And we're only halfway through the program. So let's take a little break from all the heartwarming and inspirational women and bring out a very special gift from the ICW Board and Heroes Camp of South Bend to everyone. Please welcome to the stage a renowned recording artist, Janet Hines Norris.
if you're gonna persevere, divine purpose, you gotta answer when you're called. So don't be afraid to face the world against all odds. Oh, keep the dream alive, don't let it die. There's something deep inside keeps inspiring you to try. Don't stop and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. Don't give up. See, every victory comes in time. Work today to change tomorrow. It gets easier. Who's to say that you can't fly? And every step you take, you get closer to your destination. Can't you feel it now? Don't you know you're almost there? Divine purpose, you gotta answer when you're called. So don't be afraid to face the world against all odds. Oh, keep the dream alive, don't let it die. There's something deep inside keeps inspiring you to try. Don't stop and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. Sometimes life can place a stumbling block in your way, but you got to keep the faith and bring what's deep inside of your heart to the light and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. You hold the pieces to complete the puzzle. The answer that can solve a mystery. Yes. You have the keys that can unlock your understanding. It's all inside of you. You have everything that you need. And so keep the dream alive, don't let it die. There's something deep inside keeps inspiring you to try. Don't stop and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. Sometimes life can place a stumbling block in your way, but you got to keep the faith and bring what's deep inside of your heart to the light and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. No, don't give up. No, 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 don't give up. Don't you ever, don't give up.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you, Janet. We appreciate that message. What a powerful message. Don't ever give up. Well, let's get on with the rest of the show to present our next award. Please welcome to the stage Stephanie Moore, a member of the ICW board, and she is joined by Virginia O'Connor, 2013 Torchbearer Award recipient and recipient of the Heart of Indiana Award. All right.
This year, I've been given a special honor. The Council of Judges has chosen our next recipient as the Heart of Indiana. This award is given to a woman who has opened her heart and her mind to the needs of humanity and has demonstrated her commitment to philanthropic service, social change, and the spirit of hope. Our next recipient has been influenced by many strong women in her life, including her mother, who taught her that success and happiness are found in leading lives of service. Terry Morris Downs is an example of a community leader with a heart of public service. Terry became the first executive director of the Immigrant Welcome Center, an organization that at the forefront of serving immigrants and refugees in Indianapolis. This organization was founded on the premise that immigration is good for the city of Indianapolis and for the state of Indiana during a time of major anti-immigration sentiment. Transforming a vision into a successful realization, Terry has established the organization as a well-respected go-to organization, now known for being the place to contact when an individual, organization, or business needs help connecting a newcomer to community resources. It also serves as a convener for other organizations as well as a change agent in neighborhoods and communities. Since its beginning, the Immigrant Welcome Center has served more than 6,000 immigrants and refugees in Marion and surrounding counties, and has expanded to 5 branches located in the city. In addition to one other staff member, Terry coordinates a volunteer staff of 80 natural helpers from 38 countries. These natural helpers work to educate women and their families about the new community by empowering and enabling them to be leaders in their neighborhoods and communities in which they serve. Through the Immigrant Welcome Center, Terry helps immigrants and refugee families achieve success by building upon the premise that supportive family practices connect families to community resources and support systems. In turn, they encourage their families to become advocates for themselves and their neighbors, thereby accelerating the process of integrating into a new culture, helping newcomers to fully participate in economic, civic, social, cultural life of the community. In the end, Terry has helped make Indianapolis a better place by fostering leadership skills of immigrants and collaboration between immigrant and refugees serving organizations in which they in turn help Indianapolis remain a world-class city by attracting the best and brightest to live, work, and raise a family. It is my honor on behalf of the state of Indiana, the Indiana Commission for Women, to present Terry Morris Downs, a special Torchbearer Award signifying that she is the heart of Indiana.
To present our next award, please welcome to the stage Kristen Garvey, Executive Director of the ICW and Executive Director of Friends of Bethany in Fort Wayne, and 2005 Torchbearer Award recipient Claudette Einhorn.
Good evening. I'd like to add before, Jenny O'Connor, our Heart of Indiana from last year, was unable to make it last year, so I'm so glad that she's here, and congratulations, a year late, but thank you so much for coming up to Indianapolis. Our next recipient has served on the Indiana Prescription Drug Abuse Prevention Task Force as chair of the Education Committee since it began in 2012. As Dr. Deborah McMahon's nominator points out, with the number of deaths from painkillers quadrupling since 1999, the task force is working quickly to combat this public health crisis. Dr. McMahon recognizes all too well that opiate pain relief deaths among women have spiked fivefold since 1999, while deaths among men climbed only 3.6%. She believes that education is a key component in addressing all levels of this epidemic, and her commitment to this effort is helping to reduce overprescription in our state. Through her work with the task force, Dr. McMahon has assisted the State Medical Licensing Board in developing rules which established standards and protocols for physicians in prescribing controlled substances for pain management, treatment, and efforts to reduce drug abuse, addiction, and diversion. Men once were twice as likely as women to die from drug overdoses, most of which were unintended. However, the gap between the genders has narrowed, which means that 42 women die each day in the U.S. from drug overdose, including 18 a day who die from prescription painkillers. Solving this problem may be difficult, but Dr. McMahon understands that gender-sensitive approaches are needed not only to tailor treatment access, but to identify the underlying causes of the history of abuse. Through outreach on the dangers of prescription drug abuse and coaching doctors on how to properly treat their patients, Dr. McMahon is not only saving lives, but is helping patients with chronic pain lead a more normal, functional life. Please help me in honoring Dr. Deborah McMahon as one of our 10th anniversary Torchbearer Award recipients.
To present our next award, please welcome Patsetta Trice, Second Vice Chair of the Indiana Commission for Women's Board of Commissioners and this year's event chair for the 10th Anniversary Torchbearer Awards, and Chanel Poole, 2013 Torchbearer recipient and recipient of the Young Woman of Promise Award.
Good afternoon. As her nominator describes our next recipient, she is an angel to many women and young girls. I have never met someone who has overcome so many life challenges and who is always willing to give her all to help someone else succeed. As Associate Vice Chancellor for Diversity and Equity and the Director of the Norman Brown Diversity Leadership Program at IUPUI, Angela Espada is responsible for increasing the number of underrepresented attorneys in Indiana. And through programs she established, she has increased the law school's population from 5% to an all-time high of 24%. But what makes her story an extraordinary example of a torchbearer is how she has overcome challenges in her personal life. Angela was the first generation college student who attended the University of Indianapolis on the city's south side while living on the northeast side. Without a car, she traveled by bus from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m., sometimes working 5 jobs to make ends meet while attending classes. After graduating and within months of starting her career at the university, she and her new husband opened their home to her 11 and 10-year-old niece and nephew who needed therapeutic foster care because of many upheavals in their own lives. She went from being a newlywed to a mother of 3. Then she was diagnosed with breast cancer. But what makes this worth noting is that after her diagnosis, she did not tell her daughter, Maya, because Maya was dealing with her own health issues and had undergone several surgeries. Angela not only bore the burden of a mother watching helplessly as her daughter endured extreme pain, but also put her daughter's interests ahead of hers and waited before sharing her own news. Her story is truly an example of how to combine leadership and professionalism with compassion and perseverance. Please help me in honoring Angela Espada.
To present our next award, please welcome back to the stage Kristen Garvey, Executive Director of the ICW, and Crystal Meadows, 2010 Torchbearer Award recipient.
Well, it's so fun to be able to come in where I want to. Our next recipient embodies the ideals of a humble, hardworking, and well-respected leader who is putting women's needs and issues first and foremost in her work to create a more equitable society. Allison Martin Books is a role model, a risk taker, and an entrepreneur who has devoted her life to empowering and educating women to help other women succeed. Her achievements have left a positive legacy in her professional work, volunteer leadership, and as an emancipated teenage mom, she endured hardships while earning her college degree and positioning herself to help others reach their own goals. All the while, she fought for her autistic son's education as it was seen as a hindrance to others. But her perseverance paid off, and Allison became the youngest executive director in the USA at the age of 29 when she led the American Heart Association's Indianapolis affiliate. She then moved to the American Lung Association of Indiana. Her career was showing promise to be promoted to a national staff leadership position. But instead, Allison decided to leave that path to pursue her own dream to establish the Mentoring Women's Network. As the founder, president, and CEO, Allison launched the largest national women's mentoring network to enhance the success of thousands of women in Indiana and nationwide. Last year, as MWN gained momentum, she became a very busy person. In a single year, she authored and published her first book, Landing on My Feet, Learning to Lead Through Mentoring. She expanded the organization nationally. She launched the National MWN virtual mentoring website that connects high-level executive women from across America with high-potential women seeking mentorship. And she was married, all the while being an amazing mother to her children. Please help in honoring Allison Martin Books as one of our 10th anniversary Torchbearer Award recipients.
Ladies and gentlemen, to present our next award, please welcome Stephanie Moore from Evansville, member of the ICW Board of Commissioners and member of the Planning Committee for tonight's event. She is joined on stage by Dr. Margaret Blythe, 2009 Torchbearer Award recipient.
Good evening again. School is the center of a neighborhood and a place where parents and children should feel safe and nurtured. Our next recipient epitomizes the essence of caring for others and making the school that place. As a young elementary school principal located in a poverty, crime-ridden neighborhood in Evansville, Indiana, Caitlin Gray recognized that children living in such conditions were at a disadvantage for learning. In an attempt to help, she began inviting parents to the school to get to know each other. Talk turned to discussion on how to help their children and improve their neighborhood. As parents identified these issues, Kathy invited a variety of local organizations and agency representatives to meetings, people who might be able to help the neighborhood with their problems. She was also able to instill an enthusiasm for and the possibility of change to those who came and those who lived in the neighborhood. Her positive attitude ignited a spark in the mothers who organized and formed a formal neighborhood association. Over time, collaboration helped to decrease the crime rate, and the neighborhood began to look cleaner and well kept. As a result, the students performed better in school. People felt safer. Kathy's work empowered local women and men to such a degree that when a new superintendent was ready to tear down their school and send kids to one outside of their neighborhood, the neighborhood association demanded to meet with the superintendent. The result of their united front impressed him so much that he decided not to send the students to the school and chose instead to build a new one for them. Now, as assistant superintendent, Kathy is a true community leader. She is spreading the idea of this school community council to more schools in the district so that each school develops its own site council that best reflects their individual neighborhood. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Dr. Kathy Gray. I'm very excited to be able to present this next recipient, who is a dedicated health professional who is changing the landscape of Central Indiana. practicing medicine for nearly 30 years. You won't believe this when you see her. At nationally recognized Wishart Eskenazi Health, Dr. Lisa Harris has dedicated her career to improving health care for vulnerable and underserved populations. She is intensely focused on improving access to patient-centered, comprehensive, coordinated, community-based primary care, chronic disease management, and health and wellness programs, which ultimately impacts the wellness of not only individual, but also staff and community. In 2009, Dr. Harris successfully led a campaign seeking voter approval for a new Wishart Hospital campus known as Eskenazi Health. Prior to the 2009 special election calling upon voters to approve construction, Dr. Harris built a coalition of community and business leaders and participated in some 200 meetings to share information about the project. An astounding 85% of voters said yes to the referendum, and in 33 precincts, there was not one single opposing vote. Today, Dr. Harris serves as Wishart Eskenazi Health CEO and Medical Director, leading one of America's largest safety net healthcare systems, where roughly half of Indiana's physicians have trained through the health system's partnerships with Indiana University School of Medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing Dr. Lisa Harris as one of our 10th anniversary Torchbearer Award recipients.
Ladies and gentlemen, to present our final award, please welcome Aaron Smith from Greenwood, an ICW board member and member of the NABO Indianapolis Board of Directors, and Pat Kiefner, 2005 Torchbearer Award recipient.
Well, good evening. You may have noticed we've got one person we have not quite yet honored. That is because every year we take the opportunity to honor one special individual for her significant and fundamental contributions to moving Indiana women forward. These contributions, whether they have been in her career or through personal leadership, have had a lasting impact on the state of Indiana and have demonstrated a lifetime commitment to women's progress in our society. For years, Joyce Irwin wondered what big thing she would one day do to make a significant impact on the community and the people around her. She listened as President George W. Bush, ooh, that's an insight there, isn't it? She listened as President George W. Bush presented her with the Outstanding Community Volunteer Award, and he talked about her many contributions to the community. It struck her then that it's not necessarily the big things that matter most. As she says, it's the little things that you do every day, all of those cumulative things you're able to do. Joyce's passion to help others began as a challenging circumstance early in life that helped steer her onto the path of helping others. When she was 8 years old, she developed a serious, life-threatening illness that left her in a coma and hospitalized for an extended period of time. She was not expected to live. But when she did recover, she moved forward with a new appreciation for friendships, family, and the support of others. She will tell you that I knew I was saved for a reason, and that reason is to pay it forward by helping others endure and grow through challenging circumstances. Joyce's experience helped her to realize just how much one person can impact others in positive ways. Her first point of inspiration came after her two older brothers were so deeply affected by how her family dealt with her illness that one decided to become a doctor and the other a minister. Meanwhile, much of Joyce's career has involved healthcare in one form or another, as she continues to strive to positively impact the lives of others. Joyce has also touched many women's lives, one by providing assistance, advice, and mentoring to each. She does so through many community leadership positions and is well respected for her efforts. In particular, she serves as the board chair of the Richard G. Lugar Excellence in Public Service Series, providing leadership and vision to the program that now has more than 400 graduates, all of who are women whose lives, careers, and influence have been boosted through what they learned as participants. These women are, in turn, paying it forward in their own ways through political and public service leadership. Joyce, the one big thing, or lots and lots of little things all put together. So please, in honor and on behalf of the state of Indiana and the Indiana Commission for Women, help me in welcoming Joyce Irwin to the stage for a very, very special Torchbearer Award, the Lifetime of Achievement.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome her to the stage again, the hardest working woman in the ICW business, Kristen Garvey, Executive Director of the Indiana Commission for Women.
Thank you very much. Okay, I say this every year, and every year I think this is such a great idea to be the end. And to prepare for this ceremony, I have read and reread all the nominations for these remarkable women, and I feel like I know them. And this year we had the great idea to have these photos from everyone, and there were 10 photos, 10 being our 10th year. We asked them, and some sent more, and I got to look at these. And the first thing I thought was, what was I thinking? If you count it, it's 14 torchbearers times 10. That's 140 photos. Some gave me more. So I was going through all of these, and what I found, and I was so excited, was that I was really lucky how each of you entrusted me with these personal items that showed me what mattered most to each one of you. And here's what I found out, that family is important to each of you, that giving back to your community is important, that perseverance and hard work can change the world, that your work, whatever it was, involves reaching out to others to make Indiana a better place to live, work, and raise a family. And I can't think of a better message to demonstrate the importance of celebrating and recognizing these women who have made outstanding contributions to Indiana. Hearing your stories, seeing your families and friends here to celebrate with you, and having so many other torchbearers here from past awards ceremonies truly moves me, and I hope that that has moved you as well. Each one of these women have empowered others to seek out to help each other, to do more, to be more. It is fitting that we honor these women during Women's History Month because it gives us all an opportunity to focus attention on the impact of women in history. I hope Jenny Ralston, at the beginning, has given you some insight into where we as women have come from, and I hope our newest torchbearers have given you some idea of where we as women are today. They are the embodiment of women throughout our history. They have lifted us as they themselves have been lifted. As has been said before, they are true beacons of light and they have overcome challenges and broken down barriers that all women face with courage, compassion, and perseverance. The women we honor today are now part of Indiana's history, and their stories can now inspire us. All of them have built bridges and empowered others, and every day their commitment to excellence inspires us to reimagine our own dreams. Their work truly impacts our state in so many tangible and intangible ways. We are so excited that you are here, and we thank everyone for coming. But I would be remiss if I did not express my deep gratitude to ICW's Board of Commissioners. You've met several of them, almost all of them, tonight as they presented the awards. All of these women have served and have presented the awards. They represent different regions of the state, from South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between. They represent different professional sectors, nonprofit organizations, elected and government officials, women-owned businesses, and professional women. And at every meeting that we have together, they present different perspectives and opinions, providing me with guidance, expertise, and support that keep me moving forward. But what strikes me the most about ICW's board is that they have a deep commitment to the success and welfare of Indiana women. So we are here to serve the women of Indiana. And as ICW works to fulfill its mission to understand the needs of Indiana women, it is my hope that our work empowers others to serve their own communities, to bring about positive change so that women can achieve full participation in all aspects of society. Thank you again for attending our 10th anniversary Torchbearer Awards. As we close out this year's program, I want to welcome back Janice Norris, who is an amazing vocalist, for you one more time.
My head cold and in my shadow.
keeping us entertained this evening. Thank you all for attending this year's Torchbearer Awards ceremony. A special thanks to Michael Allenby. He is the entertainment for the reception. Okay, our musician came all the way from Eastern Indiana, so we certainly want to show him some love this evening. Also, for the recipients for your bouquets, we do have vases backstage. If you'd like to put your flowers in a vase, we do have those for you. Congratulations to all of the Torchbearer Award recipients and to Velshana Lucky, our Keeper of the Light, Terry Morris Down, our Heart of Indiana, Chief Judge Margaret Robb, our Trailblazer, and Joyce Irwin for a Lifetime of Achievement. If this year's Torchbearers can come to the stage, we'd like to get a group photo, or we could do a selfie before you get up here. We got to do that, right? And then later, or after we do the photos and everybody as you're heading out, please join us for the reception in the lobby. And no pizza, but we'll have lots of goodies out there for you. Thank you so much for attending this year's event.